Here we are once again. Good morning, good morning, good morning, all. Oh. Just going through the tunnel. Yes, I had to wait a bit today. Started, so we're slightly a bit later than starting than normal. But, there we go. But that's fine because, as typical it is, we are once again waiting, as always, for a good old Yorkshire weather to clear up. See if that was going to be a thing this morning or not. It is a bit windy today, so hopefully that's not going to be too much of an issue, because we are entering that once again, that very, very windy time. So I think I'm going to have to again find or buy some sort of microphone for this, like I did last time. But like I say, the microphone I got last time didn't end up working with this phone, which was bizarre. But anyway, there you go. So yes, good morning, good morning, good morning. I've seen some people joining us this morning. Who have we got? Hold on. There's Cantwell, Cathology, good morning to you. Oh, Prinny Bird, good morning to you. But yes, good morning, good morning, good morning, one and all. Welcome once again to the Good Morning Walk. Get a microphone with wind cover. Well, I did have one. Like I say, last year, I did end up getting one. And when I upgraded my phone to the one we've got now, whenever I plugged it in, it would immediately just completely stop all sound, like you weren't hearing anything. Good morning, Mitch from Texas. Oh, hang on. Good morning, P dude. That's it. Sorry, have to excuse me. A second. My screen needs a bit of a. There we go. Screen needs a bit of a wipe. Sounds like at the top of the Mount Everest, right? Well, I definitely need to get a microphone then. Like I say, we'll find out some workaround for it. Like I say, this is what happened. This is what exactly happened last year. So I'm going to have to get some sort of microphone sorted out for it. Because like I say, otherwise you won't be able to hear me when it really starts. Like I say, there will be some sort of microphone or something, or even like a little clip-on mic I can get for it. I'm being a bit violent today. They're being a bit violent today. I don't even can see them in the background. But yeah. Like I say, now when the wind's not blowing, I'm probably coming across very well. But yeah. More technical issues I need to sort out for the Good Morning Walk. But yes. Yeah, so I'll need to get a new microphone for that to cover for the, as usual, winter awesomeness. Well, not winter awesomeness, but you know, autumn winds that we always normally end up getting. Like I say, I think I'm going to get a pole as well to stick you all on, so at least I can hold you away. Because if I'm going to get a microphone, then I might as well look in to see if I can't get a little clippy on one. Then I can have a pole and I can just have you like out here. So that'll be fun. So look forward to that, like I say, as always. A nice bit of a kid upgrade. And like I say, as always, you know, supported by you good folks at home. But yes, it's a nice, very nice chilled morning, to be honest. I thought it was going to rain. I thought it was absolutely going to tip it down, so I decided to wait and see if we'd have a indoor good morning walk today, but no, turned out not to be the case this morning. But yeah, what's happened this week in in Brexit news? Well, as many of you know, we're on countdown watch now to essentially D-Day, or what we can probably dub D-Day, because it's D stands for documentation, because that is what is coming. You know, we're going to end up with all this documentation coming down to us. And when that happens, as we have discussed, I don't know how many times we've discussed that on this channel, about like, you know, the documentation crisis that's going to hit us. You know, I did a piece yesterday about the port in Hull. And I've said before, oh, hang on, someone's donated. Oh, Alex G, greetings from Glasgow, or greetings to you. Zig Howell, you made it, greetings. Welcome to the Good Morning Walk. Welcome to all the people joining us. I don't know why. Sometimes it happens like that. There we go. There we go. Hopefully it'll keep up with the chat rather than me having to scroll manually with it. But yes, welcome, 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 one and all, again to the Good Morning Walk. Oh, we're being followed. Oh no, we're not. Can hear the ponies from miles away. We can see them briefly over here, mixed in with a couple of herd of cows as well. But yeah, in terms of this week in politics, obviously it has been very much dominated by the rise in national insurance, to which Boris is claiming, although, sorry, we'll call him Boris Johnson, because I know people get effed off about me calling him Boris. To which Johnson is claiming that this is going to go towards social care. Now, anyone can tell you that we are in, and you'll have to excuse me if you comment or anything like that. I can't see the screen now. You'll have to excuse, you know, Johnson has claimed that this is going towards social care. Now, there is no one out there who will not deny that there isn't a social care crisis here in the UK. We have an increasingly aging population, very low, what they call them now, like a natural birth rate. So obviously there's going to be a bit of a aging problem and figuring out how we pay for all this. And of course, traditionally, of course, that is of course paid for. There we go. That is of course normally paid for by it going into the national insurance pot. However, just because it goes into the national insurance pot and Johnson has decided that he's going to raise the national insurance doesn't necessarily mean, of course, that it is going to go towards what Johnson has said it's going to go towards. There have been numerous reports already that most of this rise isn't going to go towards social care or anything like that. And it's a bit of an increasing problem, because we've got to see obviously where the budget goes, because I said before, the autumn budget, where this is where we're going to see where this so-called budget is going to go, and especially the increase, that's where we'll see it all go. Now, of course, we could have had, of course, Rishi Sunak, and Boris could have had him immediately come out and say, this is where the money is going to go. It is going to go directly into social care. But of course, that hasn't happened. We are, of course, waiting on the autumn budget. And as I keep on saying to a lot of you, the autumn budget is going to be a huge battleground. Because it is right to say that we in the UK expect certain levels of service, like we do from the NHS, from our councils, etc. But a lot of people, especially the Tories, do not want to pay, of course, the amount of tax that our, shall we say, fellow Europeans pay for their type of services. In fact, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm sure someone from Denmark will, if there's anyone from Denmark in the chat. But I'm positive, like, the Denmark tax that they pay over there is one of the highest in Europe. However, they get a lot of stuff back in terms of like social care, health care. They get a lot of stuff, essentially, like public services as well. You name it, they've pretty much got it. So it's going to be very, very interesting in terms of how it's going to sort of roll out, and how essentially the people of the UK are going to have to come to terms that if we want these services, we're going to have to pay a higher tax for them. And there are a lot of Tory voters out there who are getting to that age who are getting to like the social care age, not only using the NHS more, but expecting services from their local council, etc., etc., and of course wanting access to, again, the social care system. They're not going to want to pay that amount of tax that they should have to pay. It has been said a lot this week, of course, that the boomer generation here in the UK is reaping the rewards, and that their children are having to pay for it. And of course, that's not fair. Like I say, I will have to pay more national insurance tax towards that. And in a way, it is massively not fair. And as a result, this week, since January, it is the first time Labour have actually taken the lead in the polls. And there is a lot of pressure at the moment on Starmer to not only fight against this national insurance rise, which, by the way, let's cover this. I am not against a rise in national insurance. I think a rise in national insurance would be fine, but if there is a rise, like the Tories have done, I want to know that that's where it's going to. Like, I want to know that's where it's going to. You know, national insurance is a very particular type of tax that we expressly pay for. So it goes to, obviously, pension payments, you know, NHS and social care, as well as a couple of other things as well. So I want to make sure that if there is a rise in this type of tax, then I want to make sure that's where it's going to. And if the money does go to that, well, then I'm fine with that type of tax increase, because that is going to benefit very, very poor voters, not, you know, national insurance rise. Like I say, Corbyn was saying there should be, I think it was a 5 pence rise on the national insurance, which would raise something incredibly, like, raise an incredible amount of money. So, yeah. So it would be something I would not be against, but it's making sure that tax goes to those correct places. And of course, as a lot of people have raised as well this week, that if we are now officially out of the EU, and as Boris Johnson said as part of the Leave campaign, that there would be this 350 million extra a week for the NHS, which I think someone calculated out it. And of course, if you're going since January, would amount to something like, as of last week, of course, 28 billion, maybe more than that, 28 billion pounds available to go to the NHS. So why are we having this national insurance rise if there's meant to be all this money freed up from us leaving the EU? Well, of course, as it was a lie, essentially. It always was a lie. Because there we go. We are seeing us lose huge amounts of trade from Europe, which is ultimately going to have an effect on us, on our economy. Like, you can't get around that. You just cannot get around that. And as I keep on saying, the autumn budget is, it's going to be fun. But with Starmer now having this very, very slight lead, we're going to have to see, of course, where this goes. He's got all tingly things stuck in his mane and hooves and tail. I'm just like, I think these ponies are not looked after. Oh, he kicked me. Oh, don't need to kick me. Is that why he kicked me? Because he wanted to sit there? Yeah, that's why he, he kicked me, because he wanted to sit there. Oh, look at it. Kick me. Oh. Just gonna have to go in the wash now. Oh. But yeah, you know, they were told, you know, and there's a certain part of me that is constantly saying to, like, you know, again, this came up a lot of this week, of all these people who voted Tories for, you know, maybe like the first time for very specific reasons, believing that, you know, Johnson wasn't going to raise taxes or anything like that. In fact, we even had a Tory minister come out and say that he didn't know what it was to be a Tory anymore. And you're like, wait. So, you know, I've been talking for like the past couple of months. Oh. Can get it there. Oh. You know, I've been talking for like the past couple of months all about how, I've been talking for the past couple of months all about how the Tories are facing this massive, like, crisis of, like, what they are, what the party stands for, because there are two very, very, very different like styles that the Tories at the moment want to push through, and neither of these Tories that are, you know, in the parliamentary party agree with each other on how this is going to go down. So this goes through so much of what we've been talking about the, you know, the North MPs versus the South MPs. And you've even seen very recently, like, the Tory press turning against Boris calling them, you know, there was a thing in the Telegraph last week of, I think a guy calling the Conservatives are now blue Labour, and you're like, well, hold on a second. They couldn't be further from the truth when it comes to that, in terms of, you know, blue Labour. Yes, there are a lot of people who definitely, shall we say, espouse some very Tory things in the Labour Party, who need to understand, you know, this ain't the, you know, the Conservative Party, it's the Labour Party. I think to an extent Starmer does understand that. We have seen a number of, so far, his policies that he wants to do, and they have nothing in common, of course, with what a Tory government would normally do. So you can see at the moment there is almost this like crisis of faith in the Tory party, and it's going to be very, 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 very funny, very funny to see to see how this plays out, because none of it's going to result in an absolute knife fight. Well, you know, let's be very clear, it's going to be an absolute bloodbath for the Tories when this fight breaks out, and it is going to be the autumn budget that is going to spark so much of this, because, as we've said before, sort of, hang on, there we go, let's get that for a second. You know, I can't stress the number of times I've said on this chat in my videos that Boris cannot please everyone eventually, even though that is what he sort of set out to do. You know, he set out to please everyone at the referendum, and of course he can't, because there are some people who, again, Leave voters voted for a complete myriad of different reasons, but there were a lot of Tory voters who voted to leave the EU politically, but believed the hype when a lot of the Leave campaign was saying that we're not going to leave the single market or even the customs union, which again is going to cause a very, very significant move in a lot of the the voting areas. Hence why we've seen not only the Lib Dems win a by-election, obviously down in Amersham, but we've also seen what caused them to go really hard in Amersham, then win two other local by-elections under the same conditions. So make no bones about it, the general election here in the UK is going to be very, very interesting. And of course, there's a lot of people in chat are currently talking about more shortages. You know, these shortages, as we've said before in my response to Jeff Taylor, of course, we haven't yet got a response. You know, we're going to see shortages at Christmas, which is going to be very interesting. Oh, thank you very much, Choosers Cantwell. Never bought the Tory never brought the Tory split being a big deal. One Nation Tories, etc. Ken Clarke were kicked out, taking the edge out of the conflict. Not really, because, as I've said before, not only is there the massive difference between like a lot of the northern MPs who are, pushing heavily on the levelling up campaign, which again hasn't been funded, which potentially means they will lose their seats, which will cause them to be very, very angry at Boris if that happens. And even if, for example, they don't win their seats, or it's very close, they're still going to be very, very much pushing for this levelling up agenda, which again, as we've said numerous times, is not going to happen. So this idea that, as you said, you never thought about it or you didn't think it would be an issue, trust me, it's coming. It's there. The split that will happen will literally engulf Boris Johnson. This is the split that engulfed Theresa May, caused by Brexit and the ERG very specifically, and their coup that they orchestrated. So don't go discounting the split in these Tories of some who are basically, we need to spend, and those who are very fiscal, saying we need more austerity. Because trust me, this split matters. We've seen this week of, like I say, the Tory minister I mentioned earlier, this just a few moments ago, who I said, he said he didn't know what it means to be a Tory anymore after what Boris Johnson had said. So there are some very, very interesting things that are going to happen in the Tory party, I think, within the rest of this year. But needless to say, I think things could get very interesting very quickly after we hear the autumn budget. But also, you've got to remember, the Conservative Party is not just the parliamentary party. And I've said this before, it's not just the parliamentary party of those MPs that are currently in Parliament. It is also the non-parliamentary party that also will have a very significant say. And remember, because of basically Boris's purges of when he, booted out most of the moderates or most of those people who, didn't get behind his Brexit campaign, they're still in the Conservative Party. They might not have as much power, of course, as the MPs in the parliamentary party, but they're still in the party. They're still making a ruckus, and they're going to make a lot of noise at the upcoming conference. And of course, this also we saw this week, Priti Patel being spooked by Nigel Farage, of all people. I mean, I know that's shocking, but that's what happened. This whole, let's push migrants back out to sea rhetoric that she's been on this week has been in direct line with what Nigel Farage has been saying on GB News for the past couple of weeks, because they are absolutely terrified that Farage is going to come and flank them again on the right. And they are now terrified of that. But as we've said before, the more they push to this more extreme right-wing version of themselves, the more they isolate so many other, Tories and people who think, well, I didn't want to vote for that. So as we've seen with Again, the latest intention from YouGov, with Labour being in the lead. And again, before anyone says, don't believe the polls, the Tories take a lot of stock in these polls. So, never discount these polls. So when they happen, a lot of what we saw in the rises and the loss of voting intentions from the Tories led to an increase in not only the Lib Dems, because the Lib Dems, the Lib Dems went up by 2 points, but also we saw Reform UK go up in the polls as well. So, and again, Reform UK is pretty much a party that was started by moderate Tories who went, hold on a second, Brexit's not going to work, or you're now lying to people about how Brexit's going to work. We're not going to stand behind that lie. So this is and has had an effect on them. So, and especially this week, like I say, the announcement itself, all about the announcement all about the national insurance rise seems to have gone down like a complete lead balloon in the Tory constituencies. So trust me, this has spooked the Tories to no end. And it gives Keir Starmer an absolutely fantastic opportunity to really score some points. But he just has to be brave about it. And as a previous one said, we need the I'm not sure if you can hear me or not because of the wind. But, we need a ambitious plan and really ambitious policies, and not be afraid to push for those policies. Because we can do it. We know we have a base who wants those policies. We know people of the UK want those policies. They've said so in numerous polls about how much they want a more progressive policies surrounding almost everything from healthcare to tax to voting. We know that's a thing. So just go and do it. Don't be afraid to be a bit unpopular if you know that it's going to be a very popular subject, popular policy. It is the harsh winds of Brexit. hang on. We'll get in the tunnel. We'll get in the tunnel to finish things off. This is the problem here when we're at this park, because it's just so open. We're going to have big finish. There we go. Now in the tunnel. So, the sum up of this week is, it's going to be interesting. Regardless of whatever happens this week, it's going to be interesting what happens. You know, I don't want to predict it. A lot of people have been saying, well, could this be the end of Boris? Maybe in a couple of months' time, we might be looking back and saying, well, this is where it all started. Could very well be the case. As always, we're just going to have to wait and see in politics. But I'll tell you what, the fact that they have lost poll lead for the first time since January, mixed in with how badly this national insurance rise has gone, that's going to scare a lot of Tories. And it's going to scare a lot of people in the parliamentary party. It's going to scare a lot of people in the non-parliamentary party. They've got their big conference coming up, of course, which could be very interesting when it comes to people speaking out of this. Yeah, you want to see. Well, the thing is, that will have spooked the Tories. The fact that they have lost their lead for the first time since January, that's going to spook a lot of them. That is going to spook a whole lot of them. And bear in mind, of course, we haven't taken into account of we're probably going to go into another lockdown in October. You know, I had an interview this week for, again, a local council. And they were basically telling us, they basically told me in no simple terms that, yes, there was going to be another lockdown. So that's going to go down very well, especially in the Tory party, who have been very, very anti-lockdown, very, very against locking down, even though we have seen a massive rise and a constant rise in cases throughout all this. So again, we've had this summer opportunity, and once again, Boris seems to have wasted it. So again, we're just going to have to see what happens in terms of this, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see. But as always, like I say, a bit shorter morning walk than usual, but that's fine. Like I say, I will have more videos coming out for you this weekend to sort of make up for it. But as always, thank you very much for supporting the Good Morning Walk. Please do remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button on your way out. So, thank you very much. And of course, down below there are links to my Patreon page and I forgot what it was now. Yeah, there's my Patreon page down below. And of course, there is my One Up Nation link where you can buy me a coffee called Buy Me Coffee. So, thank you for everyone who buys me coffee every so often. Thank you very much to the people who've donated today on the stream. Judith Cantwell and the guy from Glasgow, I think it was, when you message. I can't remember your name now. But yeah, thank you very much for all your support, as always. Like I say, we've got more videos coming out this week on, of course, the week that is in politics, with stuff coming up. And of course, we will obviously have our Wednesday live stream, as always, at 7 p.m. UK time or GMT, depending where you are. Oh, thank you very much, Cathal OG. Thank you for the support there. Thanks again. Good weekend all. Indeed. have a fantastic weekend, everyone. Like I say, if you can't be safe, be sensible, as they say. So have a very much Guy, you're a woman. Oh, well, I thought it was oh right, so you're Alexis. Right, sorry, I thought it was Alex. Oh well, never mind. Never mind, it's fine, I'm sure. But yeah. Anyway, thank you everyone once again for joining us on the Good Morning Walk, and we'll see you all next weekend for another Good Morning Walk. Hopefully won't be as windy, and maybe we'll have a microphone to sort that out. So as always, we'll see you all then.